Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah and welcome again to the Battle of Narrative. This is a very special edition. We're basically on our way back from Mashhad to Qom. We had gone to Mashhad for a ziyarah trip with the Hawza, with al-Ridha Hawza. And alhamdulillah, as every year or most years when we go to Mashhad, we are blessed with the presence of Ayatollah Tahriri, who gives us certain sessions on spirituality and question answers, and then we have night programs with dua and so on. And one of the really amazing sessions we have, a very blessed session, is that some of our students, alhamdulillah, after spending many years in the Hawza studying, they reach a level where we could give it an example of graduation, right, in universities, where they get their Ammama, they get their clothing, the scholarly garment. So alhamdulillah, in this trip of Mashhad, we had 4 brothers from the Hawza getting Muammam, and alhamdulillah today we have 3 of them with us today in this episode. So Sayyid Ali, assalamu alaikum. Sayyid On, assalamu alaikum. And Sayyid Ali, assalamu alaikum once again. Last time you came on the podcast, you were not with your mama, now you're with your mama. It looks amazing, beautiful. Okay, so just to get started, let's start with Sayyid Ali. What's this concept of Ammama, and what does it mean?
It's kind of now, after certain years of Hawza studies, many of these scholars, it's a tradition, kind of a tradition now, that when you reach a level, although I don't think, I specifically me have reached that level, but it's a specific tradition that, you reach a graduation level, bachelor's or a little higher, and there's no specific, level to it as well. So a great scholar from a Hawza, for example, like Ayatollah Tahriri or Ayatollah Jawadi or any other, well-known, Mujtahid, comes and, gives this Ammama to someone who Ustad recommends or the university recommends. So it's a kind of an honor, really, to have something like this.
Definitely, it's a really amazing concept. Usually, one of the very senior scholars hands this Ammama as a symbol that you've studied. Although it's relative, right? In some houses, Ammama is given very much earlier. Sometimes the Ammamas are given much later. Some people really like to wear the Ammama. Some people prefer not to wear the Ammama. So al-Ridha, I want to hear your story. What does the Ammama mean to you? That last year you were supposed to get your mama, you somehow escaped that. This year we got you, and now alhamdulillah you're wearing the libaas, and really it suits you really well. What does the Ammama mean to you?
Assalamu alaikum, first of all.
Salam.
So, because you mentioned the last year I somehow maneuvered myself out of it. So that itself tells that with all of us, we take it very seriously. The weight that comes with this Ammama and this robe, this garment, and the responsibility that comes with it, you constantly have to evaluate yourself and ask yourself if you're worthy of it. Perhaps I speak for myself, you never are really worthy of it. But then there comes a time when you have to take up that responsibility, and you have to try to convince yourself that now you're transitioning from your role mostly as a passive student, trying to avoid being noticed or trying to mix in the crowd of people. But then there comes a time that you have to step up, you have to take responsibility, you have to answer questions. Yesterday, the first day, I put on this Ammama and went to, and we had this privilege of going to Haram of Raza alayhi salam after wearing the Ammama, and I had people asking me questions. Most of the people were asking me for Eid because it was Eid al-Qadir.
Yeah, exactly.
So around 50 people asked me for Eid.
Wow. Okay.
Well, at least, and young children, even old men, even ladies. And I was not really prepared for that. I had not thought about it. Because firstly, I was fixated on the idea that I'm with this dress for the first time going to my Imam's Haram. But then people were mobbing you and asking for Eid. So then I tried to make sure that I had some sweets in my pocket, learning from Ayatollah Tahriri, Hafazullah. And so he gives out candies to children. So I said, at least this we learn from him. So I had that in my pocket. The next time I went, so I would handing out candies to children. But more than that, people were asking questions, like serious questions. And then you realize that you've now transitioned into someone who's now more responsible. You have to be more cognizant of the fact that you're now in a robe that is associated with scholars that traditionally now although as Sayyid mentioned, that it's not something that had intrinsic religious value in itself, but everyone, including the Prophet, they used to put on this dress because everyone used to do it. The others left it, we still continue that tradition. So it has now gained a religious value to it, a religious symbol to it.
It has istihbab though. For example,
Yeah,
the
Ammama with the we have the
Abba
ratios,
has,
yes.
the Abba also has
Ammama especially.
an Islamic value. Yeah.
You know, it's a very dual feeling. You know, on the one side you feel really happy about it as well, but on the other side it feels heavy as well.
It's a big responsibility.
Yeah, it's a big responsibility.
So I like the fact that you said in the start you're sort of blending with the people, right? So the people don't really know who to ask, who to come
Exactly.
to. And then when you wear this, it's not to show people that I'm knowledgeable. It's to show people that look, at the end of the day, people need to know who to go to, and this is a symbol that represents that. Sidon, you're from Pakistan. You've been doing tabligh in Pakistan for a few years now. How do you think your dressing will now impact or change how you do tabligh?
First of all, Assalamu alaikum everyone. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I think that the people of Pakistan or the people of every country give more important that if you are Mu'amman, if you are having an Ammama and you are going to member, you are gaining much more respect than an ordinary person. So I think that first I used to go to member without Mu'amma, without Ammama, without libaas. So there were a lot of places that they give me a dawah, they gave me an invitation for member. Then I said that I don't have a libaas. They said like, oh sorry, we can't invite you because you are not Muhammad. So I think that after getting Muhammad, I'm getting more invitation inshallah. This our society is giving much more importance the people with the Muhammad.
That's true. But that's a really good thing. That shows that our people still value the position of the alim, right? Because it's a clothing that represents the alim, and that's important. That's a good quality. Of course, we have times where this is also abused, right? We have people who, and this is where I think the sensitivity of the clothing comes in. It's such a heavy responsibility. We want to be sure that we don't abuse this, the position that comes with it, the fact that it comes with a responsibility, right? People are going to look up to us. Not that we deserve it, but this is now a responsibility. Unfortunately, if we're not careful, then we could misuse this.
Because it is the fine line. Now it is alam, it is the symbol of responsibility.
Exactly.
You know, this Ammama now represent. Now we are representatives of the Maktab Tashayyu. It is a very great responsibility. So it's an honor. But on the other hand, it comes with a very great responsibility.
So I have a nice story. Like last year, so one of the mosques in Pakistan invited me for five sessions. You know, they had a poster as well, and everything was there. And then I came without the imam. I didn't have a libaas or anything. So I went there, and they're like, "What? You're not Muhammad?" I said, "No, you have to be Muhammad." They said. So I said, "Really? No, I'm not Muhammad. So you can." No, find someone else. I don't have a problem. So no. So we posted your name and everything. You have to come back and you have to get, your libaas. Then I texted one of my teachers that what should I do. So he told me that if it's something like that, you have it for temporary wear it, temporarily. So yeah, they're very serious about this, and there's something very different. Even in Haram, when I was going because it was a day of Hadith. There was a massive change. Like one day before, I was going and I wanted to find wave somewhere. So people wouldn't, look at me that way, and I didn't feel that way. So now, when I came near, person comes up, I'm trying to say, "Where's Sani Kausar?" And he's like in attention position, like this. "Oh, Hajaga." So there's a massive change when this, although we're not ready for it.
You've all had questions being asked to you after your libaas on the first day, right? What's the funniest question or the most awkward question you might have got?
Yes, Dave. I got a couple of questions. People asking about Eid al-Adha and whether or not they can do something else apart from Qurbani, or sacrificing an animal. And President somehow wanted me to tell him that he may not do a sacrifice, but still it will be counted as sacrifice. And I kept telling him that, well, whatever you want to do, you may do it, and it's going to be virtuous, but it's not going to substitute for Qurban. It's not compulsory anyway. But when I told him that's not compulsory, he was sort of satisfied. But he wanted me to tell him that whatever he was intending to do was as good as a sacrifice, would substitute for it.
Nice. Say that.
I
there
was
any funny
asked
questions?
3 to 4 questions, but not a funny one. Somebody asked me about namaz-e-bayat, that is prayed on the Roza Hadith. Just like this, not a funny one. Not happened yet. Inshallah.
Did you know the answer though?
Yeah?
Did you know the answer?
I was just praying with Hajawa, with Ustad Amini, and I knew that what I was praying and then answering that this is the way to pray.
Sayed, what about yourself? You had any funny
Strangely, I didn't
questions?
have any questions from you.
No?
No,
Not yet?
not the first.
Oh man.
I was asked about Eid around 40 to 50 times.
Yeah,
So
honestly.
There were
that's
children who were asking about Eid and I didn't have because
that's because you guys are Sadat, right?
Yeah, that's
we don't get that. Although one person did ask, but like, we don't get that. But you get some really awkward questions. Yeah. Be ready for that. Once I got a Jamkaran, somebody came out of the washroom and asked me some very specific adab of washroom questions. And first I got taken aback and I was like, you know what, you have to answer that. And then recently in the haram of Imam Ridha, I was walking and some ladies stopped me and they asked me a question, and the accent was very strong. And I didn't understand the question, but the certain words they used, I knew they were asking me about the ahkam of women, you know, ahkam of blood and stuff. And I was like, oh my god, I don't remember anything. Alhamdulillah, my wife was there, so I told the sister, wait, I told my wife, just sort this out. It's good to have your wife around, you know, if these kind of questions are asked. But one of the pressures I feel is when you're in this libaas, you get asked questions and you have this pressure that you should know the answer.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
I think, but we ought to have, I think one ought to have that courage and also that sense of responsibility to make sure if you know the answer, you tell them the answer. If you don't know the answer, you should somehow be in contact and find out and let them know. You should just make up stuff, I think.
Yeah, you should be understand, right?
In our society, it's very strange when you go back to the like Pakistan in a society. They see you as a mushtahid, as a marja, wali faqih. They ask you a lot of questions regarding the problems of the daily life, the marriage problem, the political problems. It's very, you have to be prepared for that.
Not even a mushtad, like mushtad in everything.
Yeah.
Every field possible. They ask you anything, anywhere,
Have you ever had to say no?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I say.
Few
I
times.
say. I tell them
Few
that I
times.
don't know about it. I'll ask someone, who knows much more than me, and I'll get back to you. So,
It's hard to say no, right?
Yeah, it's hard to say, but it's correct.
It's correct.
It's the right way.
There's certain time I used to be like, it's easy to say no, but there are certain situations where saying no is very difficult.
Yeah.
It makes it extremely difficult. There's one time, this was a funny one. There's one time where there's this a youth was asking me a question, and he kept insisting on the question. I kept telling him I don't know, and he kept asking the same question again and again. I said, Baba, I don't know the answer. And he asked me 4 or 5 times. At one point, he told me, Sheikh, you've been in Kum for 10 years. What are you learning there? There's sometimes where it's really difficult. Somebody comes with a very heavy problem, and telling them I don't know or I can't help you with this is really it's really heavy. So this is the battle of narratives, and one of the perspectives that we're given often, I don't know if you guys have thought about this, but one of the perspectives we've been given often is that this libaas becomes a barrier between the scholar and the people.
Yeah.
You can't, the people see you as very different and they can't connect with you. Have you ever thought about this, and do you agree with this?
I've thought about it. I think it's not necessarily a barrier. It's just sort of, it could be called a filter rather than a barrier. It does change your relationship with the people rather than blocking it. So I've not experienced it yet, but I did in just the 2 days. I realized that the relationship that you have with the people changes. Somehow people look up to you, they respect you and give you undue respect mostly. So I do believe that it is possible that people may be more conscious when you're around. But again, it does not take away from the fact that you do retain the ability to influence people, to help them. In fact, it further increases the potential in which you can do what you're meant to do. Fine, if I can be friends with people, if I'm not in my libaas, I can be friends with the youth, I can talk to them, I can talk to them in a way that is very normal. But task that I'm supposed to do, that of a student, that of a religious student, I think that becomes more easy. I think, I'm not sure, I've not experienced it, because now you have this ability to influence people, and you become a symbol when people come up to you, ask you questions. So in ways, it may circumscribe your role, but in other ways, I think it may give it impetus and may increase your potential for good work.
I believe that people sometimes see us as a distant or superior, and this becomes the reason that it creates a gap between us and the community. It should not be happening. It should not be happening in any way. And I believe that a scholar or a alim-e-deen should be accessible all the time, in all the aspects. In any problem, whatever happens in the society, it should be accessible. Sometimes this happened. When I become a imam, I become a speaker, I become famous. I'm not interacting with the people, and this creates a gap between community, the people, and
that shouldn't be like that, right?
Yeah, it should not be like
separate ourselves from it.
So one of the things that Ayatollah Tahrir even mentioned in the sessions we had with him was this point that an alim should be mardumi, like you have to be interacting with the people, interacting with the people all the time. And one of the things that he said was that we should have a good connection with the mosque of our society. We should go there a lot if we can, if that's possible, and that's one of the platforms that we can access people a lot. And if they see you around a lot, then they find the courage to ask you questions as well. But if they see you once in like an year, you're coming and you're just delivering some speeches and then you're leaving, then they think that you're some sort of celebrity, that they can't reach you.
I should not be limited to the member only.
In this, I think there's a lot to learn from Sheikh Yasir. Because the way he engages with the youth, connects with them,
exactly,
and especially with the brisk guys, because I've seen it firsthand.
Even when
there's a lot to learn from him.
To Burundi,
I do crazy things. So just to put this in context, I do crazy things with the youth in my libaas specifically to break this gap.
Exactly.
Because I found that communities do that. So in certain communities, when I go there, the fact that they see me with the libaas, people come and kiss my hands. Now I know I'm not worthy of that for sure, right? So I don't let them, right? But the fact that they try to kiss my hand shows me that they are putting me on a very high pedestal. Okay? Now, some people might deserve it, right? No problem. I know I don't deserve it. But one thing that bothers me that it creates that gap. Is that this Maulana over there, and
he's superior to us.
Yeah, he's superior to us. And that means that they can't benefit from us properly, because they feel like we're living in a different world. So, we're not Maulana, so we can't really practice Islam. And I want to break that. I was like, you know what, you need to see that I am just like you, a human being. I like to have fun, I like to laugh, I like to record podcasts, right? We like to do all of this. And so I actually do it on purpose. If we go on a hike or if we go in a waterfall or something, I actually go with my libaas, right? And there I would remove it. In one case I did not, and I jumped in with everything. I really was trying to make a point over there. And I was also trying to distract the youth from a group of girls over there who were doing some bad stuff. So I jumped in the water, in that waterfall. But one of the reasons I do this is this: I want to break this idea that Maulana is something. And the reason is basically that people need to see that they can relate to us. We're not living in a bubble. We're not living a different world. Yes, things might be easier in Qom in certain aspects, but then it's not easy completely. We have our own challenges, right? Our nafs is the same, the dunya is the same, all of that. At the end of the day, we have a lot of very similar challenges, right? So people need to understand that, and that's why what you said is good, that a Maulana or a scholar is not just for the member. He needs to be with the people, spend time with the people, eat with the people, play with the people, be amongst the people.
The seerah of Ahlul Bayt, the seerah of Anbiya is the same like this. They were always in the people, they were always mardumi. So yeah.
Even Rahbar Shaheed, he was always there with the people as much as possible, and having sessions, and like a prime minister or a president. How many people have met him? from a country. But if you talk about Rabbi Shahid, there were so many sessions with the normal people that most people have seen him.
Yeah.
So face to face, many of us, right?
That's a really good point about Shahid Rahman.
Yeah.
He would have actual lectures with people from specific locations. So we know, for example, on the 9th of day, right? For the people
19th,
of Qom.
I think.
19th of day for the
I went
people of
in
Qom.
there.
The people of Qom rush there, like, they try to make sure that, they're present there. And then you have the people of, Azerbaijan and Sharqi. And then you have the people of Shiraz. And everybody gets a shot. They all feel this is my rahbar, this is my, this is the scholar that I can relate to. So that's
This is one of the main problems, especially in Pakistan right now. That the scholars are tied or bound into the member speaking only. They're not connecting with the people, and people are not interacting with the scholars, and this is seen very visible. It's very visible to the people, to the scholars. Inshallah.
Inshallah. Those of you who are listening, please, when you see a scholar, don't run away from him. He's not going to eat you. The scholars are there to serve you. The scholars are there to help you in your life if you have questions. And there's one point you mentioned earlier, is that the scholar is not just there to answer, fiqh questions.
Yeah.
Family matters, social matters, spiritual matters. All of these are part of the scholars. And this is where I think Babu Ridha as a hawza, in one way, stands out. Where, alhamdulillah, this is the vision that Babu Ridha has for a hawza student. That he should be he should be comprehensive in his studies. He shouldn't be just specializing in one field, right? Just history, or just philosophy, or just irfan, or just usul and fiqh. He should have an all-rounded understanding of Islam, that he can serve the people in different ways.
Our
that's
degree
a
has the same
blessing.
name, right? Where we received the degree of what? Ulum al-Jami',
comprehensive Islamic studies, and that's the spirit of Babu Ridha. Exactly.
That's very
Alhamdulillah, with the principal, we're very blessed to have this kind of perspective. Let's change perspective now. We've talked about the pressure that we have as the students wearing the libaas. What about our families?
that you
We're
should ask.
married, right? How did your family take this change in her life?
My family, unfortunately, my wife. She was not she's not in home. She's not in Iran right now, and unfortunately, my parents are not here. And it would be very pleasant if they were present here at the time of the event. But they are responding very positively, and they have been waiting for this moment for a very long time.
Oh, really?
Especially my parents, my wife, and I want to mention my grandmother. She's in 90s, but she's been waiting for a very long time.
MashaAllah. So you made her very happy.
That my grandchildren one day, inshallah, will become a scholar.
Very nice.
So they're responding very. Allah, it's a very great responsibility as well.
That's really good. I'll ask you this question next time when your wife is walking next to you in this libaas on the street, and then you get asked questions. Then we'll see how she deals with it. So, how did your family take this?
So my family was really positive about it as well. My father is a cardiologist, mother is a gynecologist, but they didn't have time. They never come for a month or so. But especially they come for a week, 15 days, then they have to leave again to work. But especially for the first time, I guess, my father took leave for a month, came for this session especially, and it was pretty nice. And one special feeling that I had was my wife was given the degree as well in Babu Ridha as well with me. She's my she studied with me. Everything we did together as well. So inshallah,
She got an Ammama?
no, obviously, although there should be something for the ladies as well. I don't know.
And I think she got more marks than us.
So it was. So if someone comes up asks me a question, I'll ask her as well. So if he doesn't know it as well, it's fine.
Nice. Zaid, how did your family take it?
Because I take it very seriously, and somehow I've made a very big thing out of it for the last year or so. And of course, you're all privy to it.
Yeah.
So you're all privy to it. So she too was taking it very seriously, and she said that that of course there are a lot of things that we can't do after this that we would very normally do before this, but still, as I said, and this is something that we still have to learn, at least for myself, from people like you, honestly, to where to draw that fine line where you live normal lives, but still you make sure that you are taking care of the sanctity that comes with the libaas. So there's something that we have to learn. My family too, she takes this very seriously. And I was told that, I mean, she was crying throughout when I was getting the Ammama.
That's the emotion, the pride in her husband.
So yeah, so yeah. But for me, I always want that pride to be accompanied with responsibility.
Definitely.
And alhamdulillah, the family shares this.
Definitely. That's really good. It's a pressure on the family as well, right? Because now their husbands are officially taking this responsibility. People are gonna observe you now. By the way, people are gonna observe every single movement of yours, not just of yours, but your family as well. And that's why for the wife sometimes it can be a pressure. That I'm being observed as a wife, as a mother, I'll be taken as a student of the Hawza as well. Some of our wives might not have studied at all, or might have studied partly, or your wife has done the full degree with you, but I don't think it's the case for all the wives. But the community will still see them as a person to be looked up to. It's a lot of pressure, right? So sometimes the wives take it seriously as well. It becomes a pressure. Now you mentioned another pressure is not just this question aspects, that you can't go everywhere. Can you explain that?
Previously, I know it's not something that we should be doing, and I would be walking in the street, for example, I'd be munching on something, for example. So this is something I can't do after this. Previously, I was doing it, I shouldn't have done it, but I would sometimes do it. Sometimes you're in a rush, sometimes you're late for class or something, you grab a juice, something, you have it, or you have a coffee and you drink it while you're walking. So I don't think these are things that we can do after this. So we discussed even these things amongst ourselves, between the two of us.
And why can't we do these things?
Sheikh, this is a question we need to ask you.
What do you mean?
Yeah, you're an experienced one. Can we eat ice cream or no?
Oh man, as you said earlier, I'm not the role model in this stuff. If you follow my ways, you'll have to jump in the waterfall.
With you, I'm stuck. There's this image that stuck with me. I saw this video of you. I think there were some students in the class. They were late in class, and you went to their dorm and you hugged them, you wrestled with them, and you dragged them to.
Yeah. So if we can put this.
So I honestly,
video.
Honestly, there's a fine line where there are things that you should do, and these are great examples of that. And then there are things that you can't do, and these are things that we still have to learn. To be honest, and I think initially, because of that initial pressure that comes with it, one might overdo it initially, but then I think things do settle when you learn more. There are things that you can do and you can't do. It takes a while, I think.
It takes a while, yeah. So basically, there are certain things that are considered taboo for scholars to be doing, even though in and of themselves these things are not taboo, right? A lot of this is also cultural. Some of it has an Islamic aspect to it. Some of it is cultural. For example, in Iranian culture, coffee shops are not seen to be positive in the religious community, in the religious circles. So it's looked down upon if a person in this libaas goes to a coffee shop. Now, those who are watching, there's nothing wrong with the coffee shop. Okay, have your cup of coffee, go to a coffee shop, all that is fine. In Iran, this is the culture. Coffee shops over here represent a certain lifestyle, right? Especially with the situation, the financial situation, coffee in Iran is slightly in the expensive side. So if you as a scholar go drink coffee, then people who are less fortunate look at you, they might judge you. So for example, for us going to a coffee shop inside Iran might not be positive, although in and of itself going to a coffee shop is nothing wrong. So there are some of these cultural elements. In terms of the Islamic elements, for example, you mentioned walking whilst eating whilst walking, right? So some of these things is makruh, and you expect the scholar to be abiding by the Sharia, the mustahab and the makruhat, avoiding the makruhat. Now that's an extra pressure. It's makruh. Allah hasn't made it wajib. Why are you putting us in such a difficult spot? Where you decided to wear this libaas? You should have thought about that.
It's the same problem that they see you not an ordinary person. They see you as superior to them, and they want that you don't. They don't want you to enjoy your life. They don't want to enjoy your ice cream. It should not be happening.
Like, Maulana, you're sending us to hell. We'll make this world hell. Again, we're not sending people to hell. We're here to guide people. We're here to show people a good life in this dunya and in the akhirah. But yeah, there's a standard that we need to abide by. In fact, I think more deeper if you look at it, it's good for our own tarbiyah.
Yes, exactly.
We always need to be one step ahead, right? We always, if we can't abide by certain things when we're supposed to have been knowledgeable in this, we're supposed to have been specifically trained in this, and we can't abide by certain things, how can we expect the people to abide by other things, right? So there's a certain amount of tarbiyah for ourselves and that extra self-control to make sure that everything is in line and we don't cross that boundary.
Their expectation is correct in a way as well. You know, we have teachers here as well in the house. We're talking about this. We're learning stuff every day, and then if we make a mistake, it's not the same as other people make a mistake. So their expectation is.
The expectation is correct. Yeah. It makes it difficult on us. Is where the pressure comes on us. But yeah, there are certain restrictions that may not make sense at face value, but they have this extra element of tarbiyah and how the people proceed. I guess that's a reality you have to live by, right? Let's move on the discussion. All of you have recited lectures. You've given majalis?
No,
Not yet? Okay, so this is going to be an instruction for you. You guys have recited majalis.
Yeah. Although he's a teacher, he's taught a lot.
He's a teacher.
Yeah.
Teaching is excellent. Majalis is a whole new game ball. I don't know. I'm terrified of majalis. I'm sorry. I should be saying this on screen. Should I be saying this? What was really interesting? Once we were sitting with a bunch of boys and myself and one of the shuyukh, Sheikh Ali. You guys know him now. He's come on the podcast a few times. And I was telling him about one of my experiences going on the minbar and how I was terrified and I was stressed. And these boys were looking, and in the end, one of them said, "Sheikh, we've never heard about the story of a scholar before he goes on the minbar and how he feels." And that made me think, that's true. People don't get to see that side. So you've been on the minbar. How's the feeling of going on the minbar? How do you prepare?
I had a lot of debates in my school and that stuff, and even I've given lectures as well. But yes, majalis is something very different, especially in Pakistan.
I listened to this. Yeah.
The most important part of a majlis is the end part, the masaib, right? And you have to recite it in a specific way. You can't be. It's a very cultural way in Urdu, and you can't, maneuver yourself a lot. You can't say like this is my style or something. A little bit, because the public is really serious about it. And they want to listen the same points and the same style.
All of your majlis is good, but excellent. If your masab is not good, you're not a good speaker.
Is this valid though? Is this the right thing? Should it be like this?
It's a cultural thing. I can't say it's right or wrong, but it's a cultural thing. It's a thing of a Barri Saghir, the subcontinent, Indo-Pak, and it's been happening and we are following it. I don't know it's wrong or right, but yeah, people are coming for this. People are coming, especially in the Muharram, the Ashra Ula, the first 10 days, they are coming for this. So I think a scholar should be prepared for this, and when he is going to minbar, he should be prepared according to the society, according to the situation, according to the country.
So as of now, I'm not sure if I can do this.
Although you told me you have recited majalis at the age of 17
That was when I came. That was even before university. That was before.
Anyway, so you had that experience.
That was before university.
Just a thing of couple of times.
Yeah,
2-3
exactly.
times you go to the minbar, you are used to it.
Although we shouldn't limit, a scholar to just majalis. There are many different fields as well. Like he himself has, he's really a top-level writer as well. He translates books. We can do a lot of stuff. So when I go back, I've heard people they ask me like when I was there, like I changed fields. So they asked me, "What are you gonna go when you're gonna come back? What are you gonna do? Just recite majalis?"
What is the scope
No, it's not like that. It's not just majalis. It's a very good part of it, and you should. If someone can recite, he should, because it's a great platform. We should take the opportunity. But if you can't and it's not your style, it's not like you don't have any other thing to do.
So that's just one of the part of the wider responsibility.
Yeah.
The other responsibility.
And a little one, I think.
Yeah.
It's not a big part.
For myself, my first ever proper majlis on the minbar was after 10 years of housing. I was doing a lot of classes, like, teaching a lot, you spend time with the youth and so on. And that has its own place. But the thing with the minbar is it gives you a bit more, in the eyes of the people, again, this is a social thing, it's a cultural thing, it gives you more credibility.
Yes, it
Before I used to be called, this is the sheikh for the youth.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
the youth sheikh,
I agree with
So you have.
Although I would love to be called that, youth sheikh.
I didn't have white hair at the time. It's nice. I really felt grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He helps me to connect with the youth.
Yes, exactly.
What I realized after many years of tabligh in that sphere is that a large section of the community is not taking me seriously.
That's
because I don't do
exactly
mimbar.
Yeah.
what happens.
Right? The problem is when I did do mimbar, I flopped it. So they took me even less seriously.
Are we cutting this?
Successful. We all know this. You're being humble, but we know you're successful.
Because again, it's a whole, people come for the Messiah, right? And I think to a certain extent it's valid, right? People come
Yes,
for
yes.
the zikr of Imam
The
Hussain.
10 days of Muharram
The
is
10 days of Muharram and the
I
munasabat
agree.
across the year where
I
it's a
agree.
shahada, people expect that Messiah. Messiah, a lot of it is poetic, a lot of it is unprepared, right? It's whatever ilham you get at that, at that moment. At least I think you guys do that.
No. I prepare for it, and yeah, we add something.
Yeah,
as
so
well.
I find it very hard. I follow my script. And in Messiah, that doesn't pass.
One thing that's really different as well from a lecture is that you have for an hour lecture, you don't need to prepare that much. You know why? Because there are people asking questions. It's an interactive session as well, and there's other stuff as well. But on a mimbar, you're the one speaking only, right? Yeah. So you're thinking you're gonna be ending this, your topic in an hour, and then after half an hour, you're thinking, oh no, all that I've had, I've already delivered now, right? Now what? So now you have to,
It's tough. But how do you prepare for them? Do you prepare for the Messiah? Is it something that you write a script, you practice, or you just sit on the mimbar and?
in the beginning I was preparing. I was writing all the points word by word and memorizing it. In the first, I think 10 majalis I was doing this. Then after that, I was pro.
10 majalis.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
Really.
Nah, the one thing is that I've been going to mimbar from very childhood, from the very beginning.
Okay.
Because my mother is a speaker, and she studied Hoza as well. So I've been going to mimbar from the very early age. That's why I didn't have that stress or confusion. That's why it was very easy for me. Only 10 majalis and that's it.
No, I prepare as well. Like I write word by word, and I'm very specific about it because this is the part, when if you recite Masayib well, you can go off track. Like seriously. So I write it word by word, I practice it, and I see the references as well. And I try and check if some of the great scholars like Rahab Shahid or someone else has recited this or no. And then I check the hadith as well, and then I confirm from a ustad or teacher as well that can I recite this or no. So I'm very specific about Masayib. I write word by word, I practice it, and then I deliver.
Are you looking forward to your?
In fact, perhaps even they didn't have it in the store for me, because after a lot of insistence by some friends, I had relented and I was going for the first Ashra in Ramadan, but the war came to my rescue. Of course, it was an unfortunate incident, but so I didn't go. I didn't want to go from Iran. I didn't want to leave Iran at that time, so I didn't go. And similarly, for Muharram as well, I was asked again, but then again I excused myself for now. But you started after your 10th year. I still have 2 years to go.
No. Please don't do that. The biggest difference is though that I wasn't Muhammad. I only took up formal mimbar role after I became Muhammad. So now because you're Muhammad 2 years before me, which shows your, mashallah, studied really well. So I think you should go. You should go soon.
So a question for you, Sheikh. Like, what do you think? Like, should if you had started earlier, that was better? Because this is kind of an enigma in my mind that you're not Muhammad right now. You're not qualified enough. But if you start after your Muhammad, you might not be good enough for member, right? So should we start before we're Muhammad? Or what's your opinion about it?
It's a very good question. Seeing that I'm the host, I asked the question.
I'm asking for myself.
So it's a very good question. I think it really depends. There's a lot of factors, right? The way I see it is that before you become Muhammad, I think we should be doing tabligh, but I think we should be doing more of the informal tabligh, being with the people, connecting with the youth, connecting with the people, having discussion circles, brisk, ahsan, pre-uni, and going hiking with the youths and doing all of that stuff, right? To really build that connection. You know why? Because when you interact with the people so much, you will start understanding how they think, what kind of questions they have, right? So then when you're sitting there preparing your majalis, you know exactly what the people are looking for, what their needs are. You also know what they want as well, right? It's not just their needs. There's two things we need to balance, what they want and what they need, right? So we need to balance that. And I think that time before you formally go to your community and that expectation is there, you already know them by that.
That's very
right?
important.
So I think that has that benefit. But this is my personal take. I don't think we should be going on formal tabligh too soon, right? It comes with a responsibility. We will make mistakes in the beginning. You don't want to make mistake at a larger scale, right? If you make a mistake, you want it to be as restricted as possible. Ideally, we don't want to make mistakes, but we're human beings. We forget certain things, we misunderstand certain things. You learn with experience. I'll give you a very quick example. My second year of the Hausa, I came back to my city, and I just done like a good strong course on aqaid, right? Nicely proper intellectual and so on. And I thought, I'm there. Now it's time for me to teach the people. So we did this discussion circle with a group of brothers. They were local to the city. They were local African youths, right? So I sat them and I said, let's talk about the proofs for existence of God, right? Because I was heated on that, right? So we sat together.
It's your topic as well, huh?
It's my topic. I love it. So I was like, I love it, and it's important. So let's sit together. And with my discussion circle, I started, questioning and asking, and there was no response. It wasn't coming. And then at one point I asked, one of them said, "But Sheikh, we know God exists. Why are we doing this?"
Yes.
And I was taken aback. And I was like,
I had the same experience.
it's like, the problem was that one, I came thinking of something to myself, like I'm something. Number two is I came to people not knowing what their needs are. I assumed that I know what they need, right? And number three is it was a mistake. But alhamdulillah, that mistake was within that small group, and that was a big learning experience for me, right? That next time I need to first interact with the youth, with these people, with the people of the community, see how they think, and then I can suggest a topic. That's why often when I go to a community, I first ask them, what do you suggest I should talk about? And then they give me different suggestions, and based on those, I suggest, okay, I would put it from this perspective.
That is why the audience, the understanding your audience or mukhatab shinasi is very important. Whenever you are going, or whenever you are going, wherever you are going, you have to understand the people, what they need, what they want. So yeah.
Especially in a metropolitan city like Karachi, for example, you find different types of people. Like half an hour away, you see that these people are completely different from people I just saw back, right? So it's very important that where you're going, and mukhatab shinasi ke shun.
Karachi is a city of 30 million people, so you find everything there.
Again, you have to go and find out where you're invited, do some research. So that's a really important step, and we have to do that. And so the reason I gave this anecdote is because I want to show that how if you go back to your community every year in summer, for example, when you're not mu'ammam yet, when you're not officially invited, you go there to visit your family, but you do these activities, you learn a lot. So by the time you go there formally, then you've made the mistakes, and a lot of the mistakes, not all of them. You'll still make mistakes, it's natural, right? Well, a lot of these silly mistakes are sort of put on the side, and that's a big relief. But that's again something for the communities to keep in mind, that if you want the youths, the scholars from your community to be able to do well in your community and to be able to serve the people well, invite them from the start, not necessarily for official lectures. Just bring them to your community in summer. All of the students can't travel every year, right? But if the community is called scholars, not just for the ashras, but come here for 2 months, okay? And do, chill with the youth, take them to the restaurant, go hiking with them, do camping with them, do all these things. Then you're actually helping the scholar to understand the people, and the people will benefit. It's not like after 2-3 years.
Really good for the public as well, right?
You have knowledge after 2-3 years. So the youths and the people will benefit, and the scholar will also start to get to know the people. So this is something that communities should look into.
Of course, I mean, sometimes we don't really appreciate a scholar who studied for 3-4 years. I mean, you do a bachelor's, it's 3 years or 4 years, with a master's. Someone who's done master's in a certain subject, they studied for 5-6 years, and they're considered an authority in the university. And you add a PhD, maximum 9-10 years. But then a student who has studied in Hausa in the course for 8 to 10 years, usually people don't really appreciate the hard work that they've put in. Because the same amount of hard work in the university is much appreciated, much more appreciated.
Yeah, for example, in medicine, right? We studied for 5.5 years or something like that. And then, after, I remember. Yeah, so after 5.5 years, and then when I received my degree, I was like, do I know enough to, save someone's life?
People trust you with their lives.
Yeah, but they do trust us, right? We have a degree and we're saving lives, for example, right? So you should, trust a scholar as well who has studied 4 or 5 years if he has studied well. That's the key. That's the key. There are many people who haven't studied, that well. So you need to have some connections, I guess, or better. Like how would you authenticate a scholar?
He's trying to host the next podcast.
No, he has a lot of experience. No, that's a genuine question.
It's a good question. I was actually going to ask that to say who studied well. How do you vet scholars? How are communities supposed to vet scholars?
Perhaps through teachers, knowing who their teachers are. It's very important. And because you're in the city of Qom, almost all communities do have contacts in the city of Qom. So I think they can ask around, because a mark sheet is just a mark sheet, doesn't really tell anything. But knowing who your students' teachers are, and generally asking around the people in the city of Qom or Mashhad, wherever the student is, or Najaf for that matter, and finding out how well they've done. And maybe initially when they start, like Saidon, I mean, he's the one, because he started very early. From his 4th or 5th year, people knew that he was taking the pulpit, he was doing lectures. I think that makes it evident that this person itself, I mean, his presence over there.
There's some people who really nice, really could give really good lectures and speeches. Does that authenticate that whatever they say?
As I said, I'm not the right person to answer.
There's a difference between a good orator and a good scholar, right? What's the difference, and how would you vet?
Orator, I mean, just going to mimbar or someone who is a mimbari doesn't need much knowledge in Pakistan. Yeah, I'm very honest. But the one who is speaking or who is delivering a lecture must be a knowledgeable person, because it's a one topic, you have to be on the topic, and there are questions. But when you are on the mimbar, you just need some things, or you can
so
make
how
make
does
it.
the community tell the difference? How do people know?
I think
the other question also is that even if someone has studied well, they have to have the skills to deliver them.
So
that's important. That's where oration comes.
There are people who are strong orators, but you see from their background, they haven't studied, right? There are people who are we call them zakir, right? Their masaibs are very good, and you said the masaib is really important, right? So they're very good at masaib, but they haven't studied that well. Are we supposed to? Are we supposed to get up for namaz? No. Okay. Sanna? Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Sometimes I've seen this. Some community scholars community leaders have realized this, that we need to bring more knowledgeable people. But sometimes these knowledgeable people may not have the oratory power, so the people are not happy.
Yeah.
So how do they balance?
I know many of the people who are very knowledgeable, who studied very well, but they are not famous as an orator, because they are not good as masala, for example.
That's unfortunate, right?
That's very.
That's unfortunate.
I think we need to look beyond the oratory and try to benefit from.
Although we should try as well, we should try. Everyone, although there's different skill level for different people, but because we have such a big platform right now and it's ready for, if you see in other religions or if you see in other makatib, they don't have a platform like this for tabligh. You want to do one program, you have to run around people to come, and 10 people would come at the end, for example, 20 people. But majalis, you see, you don't have to call them, you don't have to publicize it. You just have to say it's Majlis Imam Hussain, and there are 1,000 people, in Karachi especially. For example, I had 5 lectures. One of them, the middle one, was on the Shahadat or the Wiladat of Imam Hassan, I remember, right? Yeah, Wilad. It was in Ramadan. So it was in the third one was a Wiladat program, right? So the first one, the second one had around, I don't know, 20 people, right? Including me. And the third one, the Wiladat one, no publicity, nothing, okay, publicity. And it had around 1,000 people. Around 1,000 people. Yeah. So, we have this platform. We should try our best. At the end, everyone can be a narrator. That we need to understand.
I think who's a great lecturer can be a great orator as well.
Yeah.
It's not a problem.
There's some skills that you need to learn.
It's just, I don't know, I mean, it's a question for another time probably. But just being fixated on the idea because there's something that people expect and want, they necessarily have to be feeded that. If you're further indulging them, sometimes, I don't know, maybe it's too idealistic, but I think that you need to elevate the people too. I mean, you can.
How will you elevate the people if you don't talk to them in the first place?
Without talking to them. I don't know.
Although these, short courses are getting much more common right now, and Baba Ridha is doing a wonderful job at this. So I think it would change with time. And even the short courses, the majalis themselves are just to give, a spark.
Yeah.
And that's really nice. If you go on a mimbar, you have to give that spark in the public, and then they come to you and they, want further guidance, right? And then you can, turn them towards these short courses that they really benefit from. At the end, they're like they're totally converted. There people come and they tell us that we're going to majalis since like 10 years and it has no effect in our life. That's not true, first of all. Secondly, that spark, it gives you that spark. Then you need to follow up with it.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
If really it doesn't give any results, it's because you're not following up on the spark,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
And I think that's important. People don't understand that majalis have their own place when it comes to our Islamic education. People come to majalis thinking that we're going to learn Islam over here. Majalis, tell me if you disagree, but majalis are not there to teach us, right? Majalis are there to remind us. They're there to motivate us. They're there to create the spark. Teaching has its own methodology and its own place. And the reason I say this is because you have 1,000 people in front of you. There's kids, there's elders, there's people of different walks of life. There's 10 uncles definitely sleeping, right? There's a few kids who are making noise. You can't give a serious class with solid content from the mimbar. The levels are too different. That's for its own space. You have 10, 20, 30 students and you give them like solid material. On the mimbar, you need to speak to a wide audience. So you need to sort of calibrate your content based on that, right? And so that's why people have to understand the role of the mimbar, that it's there for
Just to motivate you.
to motivate
Yes,
you, not to teach you. Then you come and you take the alim and say, okay, now you've motivated us, teach us now. Where are you going for this Muharram?
Inshallah, I'll be going to Karachi, inshallah.
To Karachi?
Inshallah.
Okay. What's your topic?
My topic is Sunnat-e Ilahi.
What's in English, please?
Translation, guys. You tell me, what's the translation?
Yeah, if people have missed it, say that Tuzai are translator of the book From the Riverside to the Ocean, right? Hassan, beautiful book, by the way. So generally, what are you going to speak about? Have you started preparing, by the way?
Yes,
10 days,
yes.
we're 10 days
No,
from
no, because I write all of it, right? And then although when I go, I don't follow the script, but I write all of it because it's a very serious responsibility. I really feel it, We can't speak something that we're not, we don't have a grip on it. So I write all of it and then I might not follow it afterwards, but I know the whole structure of it at least. So yeah, I read like few books first, Sunnat-e Ilahi is a very Qurani topic as well. And Rahbar al-Shaheed has mentioned it a lot in his speeches as well. There's a very nice section on Rahbar's website, when you type a topic and then it gives you the list of all the speeches that he had that has this specific topic in it as well, the keyword, right? So I got through those as well. It has a lot of ayats related to it, and then I searched al-Mizan as well through it. And then there's some specific books as well. Shahid Sadr has written a book on Sunnat-e Ilahi as well. There's a book written by Rahbar al-Shaheed as well. There's a big portion of a book from Ayatollah Misbah Yazdi's book, Tafsir Mawzui. So there's a big portion of it as well. And then you have to find something out from this and for your mukhatab.
Okay, we need to listen to this one because it's based on really good content, amazing scholars. Is there going to be a link? It's in Urdu though, right?
Yes, it's in Urdu, but you know Urdu, right? Don't tell me you don't know.
Mera Urdu acha nahi.
So that's good enough.
Is it going to be online?
Yes, I think it would be.
Inshallah, you send us the link.
Inshallah.
Say no? Karachi?
I'm a bit confused about going to because I soon have an exam for entry for the admission of
entrance.
master.
Entrance.
I don't know, but if I go, so I have two places to go, and there are two ashras, inshallah.
Do you realize that we're 10 days away from the Ashra?
Yeah, I've prepared.
When are you planning to decide?
In 5 days, inshallah.
5 days. So you're prepared?
Yeah, I'm
You've
prepared.
got your bank of
Yeah,
letters ready?
Yeah.
Ya Allah,
These are
I'm
my
so
previous
behind.
lectures. These are prepared. I have delivered as well in other places.
So you resigned
yeah,
everything?
yeah.
He's reusing his stuff.
Yeah.
So is it going to be online? What's your topic?
I don't think so.
Oh, because you're going to reuse it. What's your topic going to be?
One is going to be about, Allah, if I translate it, Karbala in the mirror of Siratul Nabi. There is one and one is Ashabun Nabi, Ashab Husayni. Very nice.
Very good. Say it.
Yeah.
Where should you go? Where should we send you? You go somewhere, man. People need to benefit from the ilm. I know how much you know. I know you know a lot. People don't appreciate that, but I know. That's what I'm saying. You have to go out there.
I need to
Call
learn,
him to
I need
Kenya,
to learn to
where
talk
you
first. I need to learn the art of oration.
Inshallah, very soon. Inshallah. Asad-
Although I think we are underestimating him. Seriously, like he's delivered at 17.
Yeah,
I
he's
know,
being humble. By the way, those of you who are looking, if you're a community leader and you're out looking for scholars, don't. This is humility,
exactly.
in display, right? Don't believe what he's saying. He knows what he's doing. He's got the skills. He's got the knowledge.
He has all the things.
Even the
all the
orating capabilities. I know.
So I want to see you soon, inshallah. We're going to benefit from you.
Inshallah.
The podcast we did together, I really benefited a lot. I think the people really benefited. You proved that at least in colonialism you're very good. So inshallah, we're going to benefit from you. It's really been amazing. I had a good time speaking
Thank
to you
you.
guys.
Same
Your
here.
perspective
Same.
on this whole.
You're a fantastic host, I must say. Yeah, like, seriously.
But now we're not going to see you. We're going to see you.
No.
Because you seem to be the upcoming host, inshallah. So no, it's been really great. Really nice to hear your perspectives. Very different environment. I hope you can hear us speaking with the loud noise of the AC and the train running.
They
And
know
so
we
on.
are in the train.
Yeah, I think,
I
it's
think the
pretty clear.
background is.
It's pretty clear.
Hopefully they know.
I don't know if I'll be ruining the camera if I was to do this. Oh, this is turned off as well. So
no.
that's not good. This is turned off all the same.
Barry, you said you had enough battery, by the way.
I don't know. But it's turned off. It's okay. We're ending it over here. If you realize at some point that you can only see us two and not them while they're speaking, it's because our camera turned off halfway. Sorry, we were not equipped for this. We had not planned this. The way said Ali plans his lectures, Muharram lectures. We did not plan this podcast. It was a sudden decision. So inshallah, I hope you benefited from this. I hope you're seeing the back end of what happens between scholars and how they prepare for Muharram and this whole wearing the libaas and this new journey starts for them. I hope it was beneficial for you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in the next episode from there, inshallah. Otherwise,
Really, we have another episode?
well, inshallah, it was
Let's
amazing.
see.
So I hope you guys come again.
Let's see,
Some other
inshallah.
topic, inshallah. Not this one.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.